Ciao a tutti, and let's dive into what is, not gonna lie, probably one of the trickiest parts of Italian grammar, making compound words plural. Seriously, this is the kind of thing that even advanced speakers get stuck on. But don't you worry, we're gonna break it all down together, and it's gonna make a lot more sense. Okay, so just imagine this for a second. You're in Italy, maybe you're looking out over Tuscany, and you see a gorgeous double rainbow. You want to say, wow, look, 2 rainbows. But wait a minute, what is the plural of arcobaleno? Is it arcobaleni? Maybe arcobalene? This one simple question, oh man, it opens up a whole can of worms, a whole universe of grammar rules. And the reason it's so tricky is right there in the word itself. Arcobaleno is what we call a compound word. It's made up of arco, which means bow, and baleno, which means flash. And here's the kicker. When you squish 2 words together like this in Italian, making them plural isn't as simple as just adding an I or an E. Oh no, there isn't just one rule, there are a bunch of them. Okay, so let's start with the easy stuff, the headache-free zone. Some of these compound words have been around for so long that they've basically fused together. You know, native speakers don't even really think of them as 2 separate parts anymore. They're just one single thing. And when that happens, thankfully, the plural usually follows the normal, everyday rules. Poof. And this is actually a super fascinating peek into how language evolves. I mean, look at ferrovia, the word for railway. It was literally ferro plus via, an iron way. But over time, it just became ferrovia. The same thing happened with pomodoro. Can you believe that was once pomodoro, a golden apple? Because they're now just seen as these single solid words, their plurals are totally normal and predictable. Ferrovie and pomodori. But what about the words that haven't quite fused together yet? The ones that still feel like 2 separate ideas joined at the hip? Well, for most of those, there's a main rule, and thankfully, it's pretty consistent. The rule is you only change the second word. And here it is in action. Check out these common structures. In pretty much all of these cases, you're only going to make the second part plural. So let's solve our original mystery. Arcobaleno is a noun plus a noun of the same gender, so it becomes I arcobaleni. See? Just the I changes. A postage stamp, il francobollo, that's an adjective plus a noun, becomes I francoboldi. A passport, il passaporto, a verb plus a noun, becomes I passaporti. You see that pattern? The first word just hangs out and stays the same. All right, time for a little pop quiz to see if you're with me. Il parafulmine, which is a lightning rod. It's made from the verb parare, meaning to block, and the noun fulmine, meaning lightning. So based on that main rule we just looked at, what do you think the plural is? And the answer is, it fits that verb plus a masculine singular noun pattern just perfectly. So only the second part, fulmine, changes to fulmini. Nailed it. See? You're getting this. Okay, so just when you're feeling confident, thinking you've got this all figured out, Italian throws you a classic curveball. Sometimes the plural form is exactly the same as the singular. Yep, these are what we call invariable words. But don't panic, there's a logic to them too. So the first reason a word might not change is actually pretty wild. It all comes down to gender. Here's the deal. If the gender of the whole compound word is different from the gender of the second noun tucked inside it, the word just doesn't change. It stays the same for the plural. And this shows you exactly what I mean. Let's take il sottoscala, you know, the cupboard under the stairs where Harry Potter lived. The word itself, il sottoscala, is masculine, but the second part, scala, for stairs, is feminine. So you have this masculine-feminine clash going on, and because of that, the plural is simply I sottoscala, no change at all. The exact same thing happens with scioglilingua, a tongue twister, and dopoguerra, the post-war period. All right, the second reason for these unchanging words is honestly just plain common sense when you think about it. If the second part of the word is already plural, or if it's something that you just can't make plural, like a verb or an adverb, well, then the whole word has nowhere to go. It just stays the same. These examples are perfect. Take il porta ombrelli, an umbrella stand. The second part, ombrelli, already means umbrellas. It's plural. You can't make it more plural, right? So the plural is just I porta ombrelli. Same logic for la lavastoviglie, or dishwasher, because stoviglie, meaning dishes, is already plural. And then you have il lascia passare, which is like a permit. It ends in the verb passare, to pass. You can't make a verb plural, so it doesn't change. Makes sense when you break it down, right? Okay, deep breaths. We've handled the normal words and the words that don't change. Now we're heading into the weird zone. This is where things get a little less intuitive, a little more complex, but stick with me. We're gonna get through this together. So, the key thing to see here is the contrast between these two columns. Look at the left side first. When you've got a noun plus an adjective, like la casaforte, a safe, both parts change. It becomes le caseforti. Wild, right? But now look at the right side. When you have two nouns but they have different genders, like il pesce spada, a sword of fish, only the first word changes, I pesci spada. These are definitely the trickier patterns that you just kind of learn to recognize over time. All right, let's see if that last one stuck. We just looked at casaforte. Remember the structure. It's a noun plus an adjective. So what's the plural going to be? Is it A, B, or C? Take a guess. And the correct answer is B, le caseforti. Because of that noun plus adjective structure, both pieces have to change. See? It's weird, but once you see the pattern, there's a logic to it. And now it's time for the grand finale. We've reached the final boss of Italian compound plurals, and that boss's name is capo, which means head or chief. This one little word doesn't just have one role. Oh no, it has its own set of roles, and they change completely depending on what it means. Okay, pay close attention to this one because it is all about context. So, rule number 1, if capo means the leader of a thing, like il capogruppo, a group leader, then capo itself changes. It becomes I capigruppo. But rule number 2, if capo means the leader of people, like il capocuoco, a head chef, then the second word changes, I capicuochi. And finally, rule 3, if capo is being used to mean main or excellent, like in il capolavoro, a masterpiece, the second word changes again, I capolavori. So you see, with capo, meaning is everything. So after all of that, after all those rules and exceptions, you might be feeling just a little overwhelmed. And you know what? That is totally okay, because the real secret to mastering this stuff isn't about memorizing every single rule in a grammar book. Your goal is to just read, listen, and practice. Here's the big takeaway, really. Don't try to become a walking grammar textbook. Your goal is to absorb the language. I can promise you, most native Italian speakers could not sit down and explain these rules to you. They don't know the rules. They just know what sounds right because they've heard it and said it their entire lives. That's your goal, to get to the point where it just sounds right to you, too. So, there you have it. We've made it through the wild, weird, and wonderful maze of Italian compound plurals. It's complex for sure, but it's also a really cool part of what makes the language so interesting. And now I want to turn the question over to you. After seeing all this, what's the one Italian word that has given you the most trouble? What's the trickiest one you've ever bumped into? I'd love to hear about it. All right, now that we've unlocked the secrets of these words, it's time to put your ears to the test. In a moment, you're going to listen to an audio clip. Your challenge is to focus closely and try to catch as many compound words as you can find. Don't worry about the speed, just try to recognize those building blocks we studied today. Listen for the verbs joined with nouns, the plurals that change, and the ones that stay the same. How many will you manage to jot down in your notebook? Give it your best shot, keep your ears peeled, and happy studying. Let's listen.
Oggi il cielo è strano. sono apparsi 2 arcobaleni spettacolari proprio sopra la ferrovia. Mentre li guardavo, ho incontrato il mio capogruppo che cercava un ufficio nel sottoscala. Pioveva fortissimo, così abbiamo aperto i nostri portaombrelli e lui mi ha mostrato il suo nuovo passaporto. Dice che vuole andare in vacanza per dimenticare il lavoro e godersi finalmente un vero capolavoro della cucina italiana.